and because I wanted to. So I'm going to make a cube mesh for that one. And then I'm going to come down here to other props, and let's use the bush. Okay, so you see this landscape layer thing right here? Well, there's this cool little thing where, let's say, in fact, no, I only want the boxes to spawn in anywhere that there is actually grass. And I only want the bushes to spawn where there is fire. Okay? So, if you look here, in the fire, there are, or in the 100% fire, there are no blocks. Over here, there are blocks, but no bushes. So, you can sit there and you can designate each individual foliage mesh to only spawn on individual layers of the landscape painting that you have done. So let's say you wanted, like there's 6 different rocks that only spawn in desert areas, and there's a bunch of bushes that only spawn when there's grass painted on, and there's only, this tree in snowy areas, and you've got a whole bunch of different textures. You can set up each individual mesh to only show up on the landscape layer that you want it to show up on. Now, what's great is if you have a situation like this where there's a little bit of fire, it spawns less of the bushes based on how much of the terrain is that painted layer. So let's say you have a desert going into like a kind of a desert area that goes into a forest, and it kind of tapers and all. Well, in the desert area, you're going to get a lot of your desert rocks, and then the closer it gets to the forest and the more of the forest terrain that comes in, the less the rocks are going to show up until it finally tapers off into nothing but forest. It's actually pretty awesome. Like, here, I'll give you a practical example. I'm going to come in here, I'm going to paint everything. Oh wait, first I'm going to get rid of all of my foliage. No, I said go away. So, got our grass, we got this. Tool strength at 1. So as you can see, there is pretty much no fire left. Now, go tool strength, and we're only going to do half of this area, or I guess tool strength 1 for now. We want it to be like, okay, all this is fire, right? This will be the very exaggerated example that it was meant to be. Then we're going to come in, and let's say you wanted just a little bit of grass to leak over. So up in this first portion, it's kind of like a little bit almost 50-50. Not quite, but almost 50-50. And then like over here, there's a lot of boxes. Over here, there's a lot of bushes. Then when you start getting into the middle here, you're going to see it kind of does markedly less. So like right here, you see there's kind of less boxes than there would be if it was just grass. There's less bushes than it would be if it was just fire. So it actually automatically detects which layer is there and will paint the foliage accordingly. The cool thing about the new system is... Go away, tutorials. Okay. If you have the procedural foliage generation, you can set all of that up and have it just randomly generate, but it will only randomly generate your foliage based on the landscape layers that you give it if you want it to. So you don't even have to paint. You can just go, okay, well there's dead leaves in X, Y, and Z location. Paint a random amount of foliage in those, and then you can select each individual actor, I believe, like each individual mesh, and move it if you want to. So you don't even have to like resimulate the entire area or paint over it. You could just move it and adjust it accordingly. So it's a pretty cool system that they've got coming in. And I highly recommend, if you're doing any foliage work, to check out the procedural foliage system, because it is a lot of fun to play with. Alright, and there. And our grass fire. How many layers can you have? You can have quite a few. Right now, you can technically get up to 128 textures on any landscape if you add in shared wrap. However, each individual landscape component, I believe, can only hold. I believe can only hold up to. No, they changed that. I don't think you could. I think the max now is 128, not just 15. But you have to have. Let's see. There's a node in. Oh, sampler source, right here. You have to have this done, and that will allow you to have 100, and you have to do it for each texture or it won't work. And that will allow you to have up to 128 textures. So technically, I guess you could have probably like 128 individual layers if you really want to. It's not going to be very performant, and your freaking landscape's probably going to be a mess, but you can. Irtech asked if I've been uploading my streams to YouTube. I finally found out actually what was going on. They don't have it mentioned, but there is a limitation of upwards of 2 hours for a stream video. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to try to I'm going to do the 15-minute sections on the videos. That way, they will all transfer over, hopefully. Now, if that doesn't work, then there may be something wrong, which is what the guy from Twitch said. I actually contacted them about it. But I'm going to attempt to upload them as 15-minute segments, which may take a little longer to upload overall, but it should allow me to get them to my YouTube channel. So that should be coming soon. Okay, so I don't have any video editing software on my computer. My hard drive's not quite big enough to really handle video editing and stuff like that. And I don't think you can split them in half just straight from Twitch. Hi, Cryptiger. This is actually Unreal Engine 4. It is the game design software that was created by Epic Games. I am an employee of Epic Games. I work in the engine support department, and so these streams are game development streams that are there to help people who are new to the Unreal Engine learn how to use it. So if you are interested in game design, this is definitely a great place to be, and if you end up wanting to use Unreal Engine 4, awesome. Stick around the streams. I'll try to give you guys good information, or you can just watch me flounder horribly, as is often the case. I try to make people laugh and have fun. Hopefully I make people laugh. If not, then they're probably laughing at me, not with me. Whatever. It's still laughing. I win. But, yeah, that's, I think, the extent of what needs to be said there. Maybe. If you have any other questions, please feel free to ask. I have another 30 minutes to fill, so. Let's see. Does anyone have any game design specific questions that you want answered, or have any questions for me? I don't care. You ask me just about anything, I'll answer it. Thank you, Irtech. I'm glad some people like the stream. I'm sure there's going to eventually be some who don't, and that's perfectly fine. I'm not for everyone. My humor is not for everyone. I try to be as open as possible and as honest with you guys as possible. I don't believe in sugarcoating. If I think something's kind of shitty or not going to work well, these guys will tell you. I'll tell you straight up, it's probably not going to work. That is my way. Yep. By the way, since I just saw Zuriel had posted in the chat, this next stream on Friday, Zuriel was gracious enough to loan me a project that has like save state and stuff like that. And so I'm going to be opening that tomorrow, and I'm going to look through it, and I'm probably going to run over it in the stream. So if you have questions about save state, load state, stuff like that, I am hopefully going to be going over that. If I have time, I definitely don't have time to set it up tonight because it's a little bit more extensive, but I'm also planning on potentially doing a behavior tree setup for a really simple AI on Friday. So if you have any questions about AI or something and I can answer them, please feel free to ask. It's a good learning experience for me as well because AI is something I'm kind of fresh at and it's fun. But it's definitely it's not the same as blueprints. It's a different train of thought, really, in my opinion. And it's been kind of difficult for me personally to get over some of the preconceived notions that I have. And being completely upfront and honest about that, I am having a very difficult time with behavior tree, but we can work through that together. Okay, what is something else I can do? Well, what can I do? I already have a bullet system. I already have platform movement. I already have an elevator, death pit, ladder. Let's see, we just did the foliage thing. People to go over... different blueprint classes. Okay. I probably won't be able to give you a full rundown of all the classes because there's a lot of them. But let's see what I can figure out here. I'll do a quick rundown. Most of them are like already explained here. Like actor is the base class for almost everything. It has a lot of functionality for objects in the world, and it's where you'll put a lot of things like the bullets, like platforms or spike pits, whatever. You know, whatever you're trying to do that doesn't involve the character specifically will probably be an actor. Pawn is the base movable actors. So in this case, pawn can be possessed by a controller. So let's say you're making AI, or it is kind of the base for player characters, though we'll get to that in a minute because I prefer using something else. But it goes over, it starts to add movable sections and stuff like that for input. Character is a subclass or is a child of pawn. A lot of this is a lot of this is child. So like actor, pawn is a child of actor. Character is a child of pawn. You know, player controller is a child, I believe, of actor. I could be wrong. I'm probably wrong. Then you've got like game mode where you'll put a lot of scoring stuff. You'll put a lot of things that you don't want the player to have control over, or you don't want the player to have direct access to. Exactly. Actor components and scene components. These are a more recent addition, where the actor component is you come in here. Let's say you wanted something that when you initialize play, you come in and you go, okay, I want to add XYZ to the inventory, and you want multiple characters to be able to do that without messing with the character script like directly. You could put that in here, and let's give an example. So this one's a really simple one. It's just when the component is initialized. Yes, Zuriel is correct. Controllers are not placeable in the level. Actors are placeable. Characters are placeable, but that's kind of weird. We can get into that some other time. That's for like, you know, possessing, like if you're doing a GTA game and you want certain car classes and stuff like that. It's weird. And it's a lot more complex than I can really form into words, I guess. Okay, back back to actor component. I'm getting distracted. Sorry, guys. Sorry.